Welcome back to the Bruce Lee, The Rise of a Dragon Episode 4. In our last episode, we saw the Bruce, the battle with Hollywood. In this episode, we uncover the birth of a philosophy, a way of life that changed martial arts forever. This is the story of Jeet Kune Do and the man who taught the world to be water. By the late 1960s, Bruce Lee had seen enough. Enough of rules, enough of limitations, enough of being told what martial arts should look like. Traditional martial arts schools were rigid. Every movement had rules. Every strike had a formula. Bruce respected tradition, but he also saw its weakness. "Why should I limit myself?" he asked. "Why can't a fighter adapt freely? Why can't we take what is useful and discard what is not?" It was here that Bruce began to create something entirely new. Not just a fighting style, but a philosophy. He called it Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. Jeet Kune Do wasn't about memorizing forms. It wasn't about style versus style. It was about freedom. It was about simplicity. It was about winning in the most efficient way possible. Bruce once said, "Absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, add what is essentially your own." And at the heart of it all was water. Bruce looked at nature, and he found the perfect teacher. Water. Water is shapeless, it is formless. Put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. Put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. Water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend. The world had never seen anything like it. Jeet Kune Do wasn't just martial arts. It was philosophy. It was life. And it was Bruce Lee's greatest gift to the world. Jeet Kune Do wasn't just about breaking styles. It was about breaking limits. And Bruce Lee knew one truth very early. To break limits, you must train like no one else. In the 1960s, most martial artists didn't believe in weight training. They feared muscles would slow them down. Bruce laughed at that idea. He believed the human body was a machine, and he wanted to make his machine unstoppable. He combined strength training, cardio, flexibility, and explosive speed. Years before modern MMA, fighters even thought of it. His garage in Los Angeles was no ordinary place. It was a laboratory, a temple, a battleground. Inside, you'd find heavy bags, barbells, homemade training equipment, fencing gear, boxing gloves, and notebooks filled with numbers, measurements, and experiments. Bruce didn't just practice martial arts. He studied physics. He studied body mechanics. He studied nutrition. He treated fighting like science. He would time his punches with stopwatches, measure the force of his kicks on sandbags, count his heart rate after every round. He wasn't chasing tradition, he was chasing perfection. Bruce once wrote, "The successful warrior is the average man, with laser-like focus." And that focus drove him to train 6, sometimes 7 hours a day. Running in the morning, weight training in the afternoon, sparring at night. His body was the canvas, and Jeet Kune Do was the art. Bruce Lee didn't just prepare to fight, he prepared to redefine fighting. And soon, the world would see the results. Bruce Lee was more than a fighter. He was a philosopher, a thinker, a poet of motion. And at the heart of his philosophy was one simple truth: be water. Bruce believed water was the perfect teacher. Water never resists. It adapts. It finds a way around every obstacle. This was Jeet Kune Do. This was life. For Bruce, martial arts was never just about fighting. It was about living. It was about stripping away the unnecessary and discovering your true self. He once said, All fixed patterns are incapable of adaptability. The truth is outside of all fixed patterns. Students who trained with Bruce, they didn't just learn how to punch or kick. They learned how to think, how to live, how to face fear. To Bruce, Jeet Kune Do was not about style. It was about honesty. It was about expressing yourself with complete freedom. And slowly, the world began to listen. His words crossed borders. His ideas went beyond fighting rings. Philosophers quoted him. Athletes studied him. Ordinary people found strength in his message. He wasn't just a martial artist anymore. He was a teacher to the world. By the late 1960s and early 70s, the martial arts world would never be the same again. Because Bruce Lee had rewritten the rules, he tore down the walls of tradition. He rejected the idea of style versus style. He proved that martial arts was not about where you came from, but how you adapted. Boxing, fencing, karate, judo, kung fu, Bruce studied them all. He absorbed what worked. He discarded what didn't. This was Jeet Kune Do. This was evolution. Decades later, fighters in the UFC and MMA world would call him the godfather of mixed martial arts. Because Bruce Lee was doing in the 1960s what modern champions are doing today. He mixed striking, grappling, footwork, conditioning, long before the world gave it a name. But his revolution wasn't just for fighters, it was for humanity. Bruce taught that discipline and adaptability could conquer any challenge. That strength was nothing without flexibility. That true mastery was self-mastery. Today, you see his fingerprints everywhere, in MMA gyms, in fitness routines, in motivational speeches, in philosophy classrooms. Bruce Lee didn't just change martial arts. He changed the way we think about growth, about life, about ourselves. Jeet Kune Do was not just Bruce Lee's art. It was his message to the world. A message that still flows today, like water.
Formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
He would take his philosophy and unleash it onto the silver screen. This is Bruce Lee, The Rise of a Dragon. And join us in the next episode. Enter the Dragon and Final Days. Stay tuned. If you do not watch the episode 2 and 3, then go to the descriptions. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Love you all.